Now we're going to finish up here, guys. This is a little fun thing we decided we were going to do. And so we're just going to go from the bottom up. So, Kobe, on my cue, you'll follow the schools. First off, we're going to start with our CIAA grades section. And Chris has his grades. I have my grades. And we'll go from there. So let's start at the bottom. Let's get it out of the way. Bluefield State, you are now on the clock. Bluefield State gets a class-wide D. It's a D for me. It's a D for you too.
Yep. Nothing more to say. Expectations were low going into the season, and they performed at expectations.
I mean, yeah. I mean, God help them if they didn't get that one win against, I don't know, School of the Crippled and Blind, then they would definitely, I would have given them an F. It was just that bad. A bright spot was only getting scored 34 on by Winston Salem State. You know, that was a bright spot for him. Who knew that was going to be that? Let's see. Coach, okay. What coach? It's a deeper damn shame what they did to those dogs. All right, next up from the bottom, we've got Lincoln, PA. Lincoln, PA. Come get your grade. Chris gives them a solid D. I give him a D minus.
Well, they couldn't get any worse than Bluefield because they actually beat Bluefield, so there's that.
Yeah, but people expected a little bit more of them. You know, they had Isaiah Freeman. You know, they made some strides. You know, they were like the cute little lion that could until I don't know.
That's a different category. That's a different category, though. Like that's most disappointing. Like they would have been right in the running for most disappointed this year.
That's not
D for disappointing.
I graded them on expectations and how I felt like they would do. So yeah, that's my grade. I give them D minus from me. D minus from Professor SJG. Next up, Elizabeth City State University. You are now on the clock. And maybe that's the school that I didn't put a grade up for. On the ticker. Chris.
Well, easily forgettable. I understand.
They're just kind of hanging out over there in the 252, you know, blue and everything like that. What would you give them?
I gave them a D, just like you did. D.
Oh, yep. A D. You know, they didn't go winless. You know, they were in some close games, but
well, you got to give them credit though because they did beat one of the schools you don't like. They beat Chowan. That counts for something.
Get them boys a D. Give them a D plus. Give them a D plus. Give them a D plus. All right. Next up would be, I think this is that school up in PG County, Maryland. This was, I think, at Bowie State. Gets a C minus from both of us. Chris, they were picked to finish. And I think a C minus is generous here. Again, based on my rubric. This is the team that was expected to be top 5. Our guy Clarence said they were going to be 8-2.
He sure did.
Clarence said they were going to be 8-2 and be at the top of the CIAA. And got mad when I said that they were comparable to Livingstone. Now they did beat Livingstone. Who knew that was going to be their best win of the season? Because other than that, they just they ate out of the bottom of the kennel in the CIAA and in the old CIAA North. You know, they beat Bluefield State, they beat ECSU. They finally lost to Fayetteville State. You know, so C minus there. We'll see. We'll see where things go from there. Next up, let's go Shaw Bears. Let's see what we gave Shaw. Shaw got a B minus from Chris and a B from SJG. Why the B minus, Chris?
I thought that they performed above expectations for sure. They ended up 6-4. They had a pretty decent win against Albany. They had a good win against Livingstone. But they just sort of hit a bit of a ceiling to me. And the teams ahead of them, they're not that much far ahead of them grading wise, but so where do you put them? It's above average. Like a C is average, right? So I mean, they deserve more than average. But it was a good season. It was just good. That's about it.
You've convinced me that I went too high. It should be a C+. You actually convinced me I went too high. Next up, let's go over to Livingstone College. Let's see what the Blue Bears got. They got a B- from Chris. And they got a B from SJG. B-. So you gave them pretty much the same grade you gave Shaw. Is that correct?
Yep. Exceeded expectations. Exceeded. We were told at the beginning of the season, don't sleep on Livingstone. Don't sleep on them. Folks were telling us, hey, they felt disrespected, and they showed it to us. They showed us on the field, and so this was a good season, and better yet, they capped it off in such awesome fashion.
That's why they got the B for me, to be honest with you. Beating Johnson C. Smith. That's what they got to be for me. I think for me, I think that Johnson C. Smith win really is what got them to a B. Now you look at that Bowie loss. That's a bad loss. I mean, if they had beaten, I had picked them. I think I had picked them to beat Bowie.
If they had beaten them.
I mean, I ain't gonna be that upset that they didn't beat them, but it was I mean, that was a winnable game for them. I just thought they I don't know, maybe they just got tired from the bus ride up I-85 to 95, and they just weren't ready to play when they got up to PG County. Best defense in the conference.
It was a really good defense. They kept them in games. It was a really good defense.
I can't give them best defense in the conference. Now when you let Winston-Salem State score 31 points. Now when you let Winston-Salem State score 31 points, no, can't do it. It's one game, but all right, let's go. Next up, we've got, let's see who else we got. Let's go over to the VSU. They get a B. Again, they were picked to win the conference. Rightly or wrongly, they were picked to win the conference. And I mean, they certainly had the schedule. It was straight up cakewalk after the wins that they got were cream puff wins for the most part. Again, the offense didn't show up against Winston-Salem State. They took that L. The offense couldn't get over the hump against Johnson C. Smith. That was an L. And once Virginia Union decided they really wanted to play, they couldn't get them there either. You take away that VUU win. Again, VUU kind of already clinched everything. They, what impressive wins do they have? None. They beat up on Lincoln. Woohoo. They beat up on Bluefield State. Whoopee. And yeah. So, all right. Next up, we'll go with the Rams. Go ahead and put WSSU up there. All right, Chris, you give him a B. I give him a B+. Why was it? Tell me your B.
Winston-Salem State finally got to 7 wins, the most wins since 2016 when they went to the conference championship game.
It's been 84 years.
And I thought it was a really good season, right? They had to do a lot of fighting in overtime when they could have been putting teams away.
The clock was still moving when they were fighting.
And there was a lot of good things. I think when you look at the VSU game, I think that they caught some lucky breaks by not having replay. When you look at the A&T game, they should have won that game. Just like VSU had their chances against Norfolk. And when you look at VUU and JCSU, they had their opportunities, right? And they just couldn't capitalize. And I think that, like, when you look at sort of where WSSU is building right now, I think it was a great season. This is a good grade. It's solid. It's a solid team. So a B sounded about right. I thought anything beyond that was just too generous for me.
Yeah.
That's only one game. Look, that's only one game.
Relax.
That's only one game.
Relax. Okay, yes. Johnson C. Smith was good. So I give him a B+ for this. Winston-Salem State had the toughest schedule. The way it played out, they played the toughest schedule. They played the top 8 teams in the conference minus themselves. There were 2 teams that they were just there were the 2 games that they just straight up lost were obviously Virginia Union and Johnson C. Smith, and they won the VSU game. They beat Bowie State. They went and got they got their face back against Fayetteville State. They went in, and I think the thing with WSSU is in the last couple of years, they've lost games at the end of games. And this year, for the most part, in those games, they found a way to win them. So I'll give it a B+. Let's go over to JCSU. Chris, I wanted to give him a B so bad. And I still think I wanted to give him a B so bad. Like, I wanted to give them a B so bad just because that end. I mean, you talk about a crash and burn. I mean, they come over, they're going to come out hot. And, everybody's excited about them because nobody remembers the last time that they were really good. And they're in Charlotte, and it's a sexy story. And they're on College Game Day and all of this stuff. They come up to Winston-Salem State, and they finally beat WSSU for the first time since Michael Jackson had an afro. They're over there throwing confetti bombs and just, whatever. And then they scored 10 points in 8 quarters. Just completely just fell apart. I don't know that they ever found their way back from Winston-Salem to Charlotte. And but they start off 8-0. So they get a B+. But man, and they fumbled the bag for the rest of the conference too. Let's also forget that too. So B+. And we'll finish out with VUU.
Wait, you forgot Fayetteville.
Oh, those guys. Yeah. My bad. See. Okay, let's go next to
Okay, now next.
No, Walter, don't.
That's cold, man.
Don't, Walter, don't give me that. Don't give me that promising future. I know you're a Blue Bear, and y'all stripped all their hopes and all their dreams for them on that blue field. And also, I mean, JCSU, disappointing HBCU football since 1892. All right, and lastly, Virginia Union. We'll talk about Fayetteville State. Fayetteville State, they were upset because at the start of the season, they were picked to finish 3rd, even though number 2 has been their spot for the better part of the decade. We should be number 2. And then this. Your thoughts on the season? But you know what? I should give them a C+ because they beat Johnson C. Smith. I mean, they just straight up smacked them again. I I don't know that Johnson C. Smith ever found its way back from Bowman Gray Stadium. They might still be on MLK for all I know. But
no,
Fayetteville
State took their soul, like Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung just had a soul in his hand. They took their soul from them, man. They were never the same. So I just think that they found their strides at times. And they started off with that Pembroke win, and Pembroke actually did halfway decent this year, but the name of the game, they didn't have consistency, and that's what really hurt them. And then they should have never scheduled Valdosta State. I don't know why they did that. They got shut out of that game. That's just a totally different league. Hey, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I probably went a little low there, but hey. And lastly, we'll finish off with VUU. Chris is giving them an A-.
That's not fair. TBD.
You damn straight, TBD. You're damn straight, TBD. Because they still got another game to play. And you lost to Johnson C. Smith. You lost to Johnson C. Smith. I don't care what the standards say. You lost to Johnson C. Smith. And then you go over there and score 91 points against Bluefield State. Whoop-de-doo. You're going for 2, doing all this stuff. And then the next week, you just turn the ball over 4 times. You just let Virginia State look like the 2002 Rams, LA Rams, or St. Louis Rams. I mean, did you really even care? Did you just want to get them to beat them in the championship game? I'm still not certain whether or not that was the case. Either way, Virginia Union, you've been to the playoffs for the last 2 years. You are now the back-to-back champion. This is your time. This is your moment. And this is the CIAA. It doesn't just count that you made it to the playoffs or that you won the CIAA championship. Damn it, you got to win. You got to win. You're the founding member of the CIAA. You got to win a playoff game. If you don't, that will determine my final grade from you. Right now, I'm on the line between a B+ and an A. But yeah, and also again, the CIAA North was just food. So you take away that too. So there we go. To be continued, to be determined. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. We went a little bit longer tonight, but I think it was fun. Let us know what you guys think about our grades in the comments, whether or not we were too harsh, too easy, too biased, or whatever. So grade our grades. All right. Well, look, all right, Amanda, I appreciate it. Yeah, man, this has been fun. Go check out some playoff football if you can. Look, Miles, Virginia Union. Look, it's been a while since the CIAA and the SIC have won the championship. A playoff game. Go ahead and do this so next time we won't have to fight quite as hard. Appreciate you guys for tuning in as the grades just continue to roll in. They lost 35-28 and played terrible. That's the crazy part. I'm sorry, when you scored 90, you go on for 2 and scoring 91. Come on, you're supposed to be that team all the time. Yeah. So more. Appreciate you guys for tuning in, and we will catch you on the next one. It's SJG D2 HBCU football.
Sleep on Livingstone if you want to, and they can really punish you for it.
Fayetteville State, they're never sexy, but they won.
Sometimes we have to eat our crow. And I got to eat my crow this week, okay?
Doom alert. Yeah, we're back at Heartbreak Hotel, and we're checking back in.